Hampden Watch Company invited me to Chicago for what I will call a VIP seat to their watchmaking workshop, where I got to experience what it's like to build my own movement, set the dial in hands, case it, regulate it, and water test it, all before taking it home. That was the intro to last week's video, where I brought you along for a private tour showcasing more than 100 years and 4 generations of watchmaking. Today, I'm bringing you along for the build. First, I am just going to start with a little bit of honesty. When I got the invite from Hampden to take part in their watchmaker's workshop as a creator, without hesitation, I jumped at the opportunity. It wouldn't be until the date was confirmed and the flights were booked that the question dawned on me: what if I didn't have the skill to pull this off? In a bit of a panic, I jumped on the net, ordered a non-Swiss version of the movement that we would be working with in the workshop, headed over to YouTube, found a few videos, and got to work. My plan was I was going to this workshop prepared, having already have built this movement before. The results were actually quite the opposite. Turns out a pallet fork is quite fragile.
This is your pallet fork. It's very tender, okay? It can easily get damaged because the pinions are so small.
Yep, I broke the pallet fork. Needless to say, I was heading to Chicago, a little bit of a nervous wreck. So the day came, we hopped on a plane, and by we, I mean my brother Tony from Camera Fusion and I, and when we landed, check this out. Fog like I have never seen. If you have never been to Chicago on a foggy day, let me tell you something, it is something you have to see. We had the day, so we took in some sights, ate some Chicago deep dish, and then called it so we could be prepared for an early start the next morning. I tell you this because I want to paint an accurate picture of where my mindset was. Hampden gifted me this experience, and with that came the pressure to deliver. Well, it turns out that all of the worry was completely unfounded because this class is so well put together. I truly believe just about anyone could successfully take it. The morning of the build, we arrived at Hampden's headquarters, which by the way is unbelievable, where we were greeted and given a personal tour by CEO Joseph Wine. After the tour, we got right to work. The build started with some getting up to speed, with Joseph giving us an overview of what was going to happen throughout the day, a quick focus setup on the trinocular that we would be using, and some movement basics by way of a video. And within no time, we were tools in hand.
Put your thumb in place and guide, use your thumb to guide that screwdriver blade into the screw, and then practice loosening the screw and then tightening it. If you want to, take your needle tweezers once you've loosened a screw and just try to pick up that screw with your needle tweezers and put it back down. After you've practiced that a handful of times, Gian is going to take your play movements away and give you your Swiss movement. But before we do, please put on your gloves.
And yes, you did hear that correctly. Hampden has this class so well oiled that they have thought of everything. There is even a practice session before you are given your Swiss movement. With the practice out of the way, it was time to get to work disassembling our movements.
I'm going to pick up that screw head, and I'm going to put it into compartment 1. Okay? And when you have completed that step, look up at me. Flip it over and put it into the center compartment. So go ahead and do that. When you unscrew them, you actually have to unscrew them until they are actually tilting they're falling over. If I just turn my screwdriver, it's going to be like I'm winding the movement. I don't want to do that. So look what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to press down on this ratchet wheel before I unscrew this screw. Here, I'm going to do it here. I'm holding the ratchet wheel down while I unscrew the screw. And once the screw is loose, I'm going to take my needle tweezers. Little detour. We've been talking about the wheel train a lot. I want everybody to look at the screen here. I'm going to teach you something called the wheel test. We don't need to use that wheel test now. I'm going to show you how to do it with tweezers. You're going to want to hold it so that the edge of the tweezer is flat with the wheel, and then you're going to want to lift it straight up. Okay, so I'm just going to show you with the center wheel. The center wheel is the least fragile of all these wheels. So I'm going to hold it like this, and look, I've got my thumb here, because my thumb is going to move up. My thumb is going to push straight up. See how I'm doing that? And once I've removed the center wheel, I'm putting it into compartment 5. Everybody do that.
As you can tell by the clip that I just played, this class is designed step by step with Joseph Wine at the helm, walking everyone through the process, and Gian and Mark ready to assist anyone that is having a hard time. And trust me, at one point or another, every person in the room required that help. But I will say this, they help in a way that doesn't make you feel like they're taking over the build. It's just enough to keep you from getting stuck. And here's another thing, the couple that was sitting to my left, I am horrible with names, but I believe it was Kara and Rob. I just want to point out that I believe Kara required less help than every other person in the class. So I would say, ladies, if you are thinking you would like to do something like this, but you're a little bit nervous, don't be. After disassembly of the back, it was time to disassemble the dial side.
I'm going to loosen it completely, and once that's loose, I'm going to pick it up with my needle tweezers, and I'm going to put it into compartment 2.
Okay, at this point, we are at the second part of the disassembling that you really have to take your time with. The first being the handling of the balance wheel, and the second being the removal of the yoke spring. If you listen closely, because he wasn't wearing a microphone, you can hear Mark tell us all that the first person to lose that spring had to buy the drinks.
Now the first one to lose the spring buys the first round of drinks.
Does everybody see this pin? It's actually pretty tall. So to lift up the yoke, you actually have to lift it over this post.
Disassembly complete, and now it was time for the reassembly. And for the sake of not making this video 1 hour long, I'm not going to make you sit through all of that, but there are a few things that I do want to touch on. All right, I wanted to break in here real quick. First off, to let you know that we lost the microphone that Joseph was wearing. It cut out, but I'm still going to play the portion where he's talking about the pallet fork because I think you should hear it, but it is a little rough, so just bear with me. This is the pallet fork from the sample movement that I ordered that I told you I had broke. It's actually not broke. What happened was the pallet jewel slipped out. Now, I don't know if these are compression fit. I don't know how they're put in there, but I can tell you this thing is very, very small. I have it under a 100mm macro lens at the moment. I just wanted to show you that what Joseph is talking about in this next section is if you look down here at the little trident piece here, the tips of these are called tines. And he's telling us that the center tine is not level with the two outside tines, that there is an upside and a downside. This is why I believe I broke this pallet fork in the first place. The video that I was watching during the construction didn't mention that, and they also didn't mention that there's a little lever that has to be pushed to the side when you set the pallet fork. Both of those details were missed in that video, so I'm going to blame the creator of that content instead of myself.
If you look at the tail of the pallet fork, I'm going to zoom in. One of the tines is a different height than the others. And this is upside down. What we want is the center tine to be lower than the other two. As a matter of fact, you want to see the 17th jewel? It's right there. See that?
I'm sorry, repeat that. It should be lower, right? Not higher?
Lower.
Okay. Up to this part, I was killing it. And I mean, like, I was at the point where I was thinking I was ready to become a watchmaker. And then came the setting of the balance wheel. Okay, I just want you to remember while you are watching this that I am the one that is editing this video, so I could have easily left this part out, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be vulnerable and show it the way it actually happened. I just could not get this balance wheel to set correctly. I could get it to set, but not set and working. If you listen close, you can hear Mark walking me through it. And in full disclosure, he was the one that actually ended up getting it set in the end.
There you go. Okay. Is pallet fork still up? Mm-hmm. It is. Now you want this turned a little bit more, like that.
Okay.
So come in at that angle.
Then spin.
And then spin it and set it down. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good.
All right.
I think you guys made me a little paranoid with that one. Like, don't mess it up. It costs as much as the watch. Okay, with the movement complete, it was now time to pick the option you wanted between blue and gray. I went with the gray. I think most people went with the blue, and I get it. It is a little more universal, but I just found the gray to be really unique looking. So we set the dial, and it was time for lunch. Now, I did not film any of this, but I will tell you, it was lasagna, and it was absolutely amazing. So while we were eating, Gianna and Mark were getting everyone's watches ready for the handset. And in full disclosure, while they were at it, they went ahead and set the small second hands, leaving only the hour and the minute hand for the students.
Put some glasses on here. So you want me to demonstrate and then you can go ahead and do it?
Sure.
Okay, so there's obviously, do you see how there's two sides to this? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's the top.
Bottom.
Okay.
Lift up your thumb.
So we'll set that down like that. I like to take it flat, like that. Tap it and get it on there, okay? And I like to get my hands up here as close as possible so I have as much stability to do it. I'm gonna be pushing down so that this is almost there, and then you can just push it in place.
And it doesn't have to be set to 12.
No, it will when we do the minute hand. We'll move it all up to 12.
Okay.
Now, put it in a position that's easiest for you to see it. It's already set for you, yep. Just about another couple of hundredths of a millimeter, not a lot. Let's see where we are on that.
So,
Yeah.
it was the thing more than anything.
Touch the face, bro.
Yes, I think so.
All right, where is your movement? Where are your hands?
After getting the hand set, it was time to case the movement. My brother wanted to see what it was like looking through the microscope, so I gave him the honors. A quick wind to power it up, and it was time for regulation. Now, they are only regulating it in one position, but by the time it was all said and done, mine was running at +1 second. Next up, water pressure test. All but one passed. Joseph quickly reset the O-ring, retested, and all was good. And with that, the build was complete. The only thing that was left to do was to size your bracelet, which I opted out of because I knew that mine was going to live on a strap. So here it is, a close-up of my watch, and yes, you do get to keep it. I thought I would end the video with just sharing my thoughts on what I thought of the workshop. First, it is not an inexpensive experience. I think the cost on this class is about $2,100. With that said, I do think it is worth every single penny. For most, I would say that this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. For me, I have it on pretty good authority that they are going to be adding a class covering the SW200 movement, so I have a pretty good feeling I'm going to be back. I really hope if you are still watching, that means you liked the video and you have already hit that subscribe button. But either way, thank you so much for taking this journey with me. I'm James. This is Blue Collar Luxe, and I will see you in the next one.